This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
I'm only doing a face because I worked up the courage to actually talk to people in person now.
Yeah, you did,
yeah,
girl.
Yes, you did. That's such an accomplishment. It really is.
I've
That's
never
so hard.
done that before.
It's so hard.
I introduced myself to a gentleman who I believe upon closer examination was a good decade younger than me.
Hey.
Yeah.
So I felt like Cougar Town. But
That's when we went out last week, right?
yes.
Anthony's movie,
so,
which was so fucking funny.
Yeah,
That
so that's
movie
good to
was
plug on the podcast.
Hilarious.
My
So funny.
fiance is in a movie. I can't get used to saying that. It's very weird to me.
Fiancé.
I don't love it. But he is in a movie called Making Babies. It is so funny.
So funny.
Eliza
So
Coupe is
cute.
in it, and Steve Howie is in it from Shameless. Like, it is such a fun movie, and he's got like a little cameo in it, but it's
Their
great.
chemistry
Yeah.
is so good. It is such a cute movie.
There's so many moments in that. The other day, I don't know why, it was in the morning and I was like drinking coffee and I thought about that pressure washer bit.
Oh my God.
Pressure washer.
I was sitting next to you and you laughed so hard. Yeah, there are so many really funny moments where I went to the table read for that and I did all of the like side characters and all of the stage directions and stuff. And so I was with them for that first initial reading, and so much of what actually ended up in the final cut of the movie is improv.
That's
She
awesome.
is so
awesome.
her improv skills, if you go and see Making Babies, Eliza Coupe, her improv skills are so good.
She's really funny. I've
yeah.
liked her in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
because
she's
she's
very
in so
funny.
much. So yeah.
Yeah. So go see that.
Yeah. So then we
It's in
went,
limited cities, but
we went out, and for those of you guys that have been listening, I got back on Tinder, but like half-assedly, in that I've been handing my phone off to friends and letting them swipe for me.
Oh God.
And I've also done a little bit of swiping myself, but I mean, I don't even really know why I'm back on it again. If I'm honest, I don't really kind of want to date, but you know, it's just kind of interesting to me, and it's almost like a game now where I'm like, am I playing Sonic the Hedgehog or Tinder? I don't know.
Same thing.
Same thing. But yeah, I did the hard reset, and I'm letting other people swipe for me. It's not working out, so I worked up the courage. I saw a cute guy. It took me a few minutes. I've never done this before, but I
hate it. So I'm impressed with you.
I went up and I just turned and I touched his shoulder lightly, and he turned and looked at me, and I was like, "Hi, my name's Christina." That's all I said. And he was perfectly friendly to me.
Nice.
He
See?
like introduced himself. He asked me like where I'm from. He said he just moved here. It was like
Aw.
a perfectly pleasant conversation. And it didn't lead anywhere because I looked at him and I immediately knew, you are a baby. You are so
Aw.
young. And so I probably could have exchanged phone numbers if I wanted to. I didn't. I let it go. And I was like, my friends are outside. It was really nice to meet you. But I crossed that fucking threshold.
That's
Yeah.
a huge first step because it is so hard. It is so
Yeah.
hard to do. Like, it really is.
Yeah.
I'm the worst at going up and talking to people. I mean, girls, no problem. But like, if it was a guy situation, I couldn't do it. So like, props to you for
So
sure.
now
This is what
I'm
makes
gonna-
me a great wing woman, because I can talk to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can talk to people for other people. I can't do that shit for myself though. Like, no, I'm
I
not.
definitely did that
I'm
for
not an
myself.
advocate for me at all. But like, yeah, I could be a wing woman for someone else.
Yeah.
But
It
not for
was-
myself.
I think it was an important first step for me. So
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
But you know what? I do want to point out that on this ship app that we have talked about, somebody that
from
I
Betches,
was
yeah.
from Betches. There's an app called Ship. Get your guy friends on it, especially if they live in LA and they want to date Christina. So
And why wouldn't you? I'm fucking amazing.
I got on this app and I texted you both because I was like, I like this guy. I think he's funny. I think he's funny. There's this guy on this app. One of his pictures, because you can have so many pictures, and one of them is his credit score. And I was just like, yes, I like you. I think he's
And that is a great credit score.
It's a great
It's really
credit
good.
score. And his sense of humor is really funny. And this is his About Me section. My suits are made of boyfriend material. Over 10,000 hours of online dating experience. Moms love me. Also known as the Dimple King. He's 6'1".
Yeah.
I'm into it, and he was a match for Christina.
Yes.
So I'm like, Christina, get
I know.
on this.
I need
She's
to man
literally
up,
shipping
man up
this.
and-
I'm shipping this relationship. Maybe he's shitty in real life. I don't know, but I am impressed with his humor in his
Right.
bio.
Well, let's see what I've matched with on Tinder this week. Because I will tell you, the fucking funniest person on Tinder, Amy. Hilarious.
Our
I think,
friend Amy?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
She
yeah.
swiped left on most of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because
She's like,
literally
no,
today
no.
I've swiped not that often. Really, maybe 10 or 15 minutes here or there. So I pulled it open while we were on break in between things, and I was like, how did I reach the fucking end of ages 35 to 46 within a 10-mile radius in one of the
Sorry.
most populated cities in
Tinder's
Los Angeles?
done.
Yeah,
Tinder's
Amy,
no more.
Amy wiped you
did
out.
it. Yeah, she was like,
Wiped me
She's
out.
like, wait, you're passing. No, me.
I know. I was like, well, but I mean, that's good. She has super fucking high standards. She's like, no.
well, Amy
no,
advocates
no.
for you finding someone IRL.
Yeah.
Like, she's like,
Yeah.
you need to find somebody in real life, which I agree with, except for this dude on Ship. Other than that, I'm with her completely.
Yeah.
I'm like, go out with this guy, and then also people in life.
But yeah, so my bio this go around, like one of the lines in it is like, love some whiskey and talking about whether this is all a computer simulation.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic.
So that is something I enjoy. So one of the gentlemen that I matched with, bless his fucking heart, asks me, he's like, this is a weird question. I know this is really crazy, but something on your bio was about weather being a simulation. He used the wrong weather.
Oh,
And he said, what do you mean by that?
Oh, honey.
I was actually tripping out the other day. If you take the globe as one huge scale
no.
and then take the difference in weather from here to, let's say, 1,000 miles away, and how drastic of a difference it is.
honey.
Oh no.
Oh, honey.
I was like, I don't know how to respond without being like,
Oh no. Oh no.
He just doesn't understand how weather works. He's like, I don't understand why the
words.
Midwest and the West Coast
why
have
is
different
why
weather
is it
patterns.
cold in Antarctica? And
It
warm
must be
here?
a computer simulation. It's the only possibility.
Oh no.
Oh, that's bad.
And it's just like, it is all just this time around, just like, I think Tinder is telling me, like, you know what, you did the right thing
Yes.
by leaving me.
Your heart
Tinder and
There's
reset.
Amy.
nothing.
Tinder
My-
and Amy.
My
There.
hard reset was like a good, like, just
You're
be
like, no, it
done.
is broken.
You
It
need
is
to have a
broken. It
good
is
palate
broken.
cleanser. Just
Yeah.
move on,
Really-
move it along.
I really do, because
Yeah.
I'm so free and clear now.
Yeah.
We're gonna go out tonight. You know,
Yeah.
maybe I'll like see somebody and have you met my friend Christina myself, because I
Yeah.
know I can do that now.
I might do it for you.
And
We'll see.
yeah, so that's what's going on. What else is going on out in the world?
Ugh,
Anything good? Anything?
anything good? No.
Can we talk
no.
about Nicolas Cage's 4-day marriage?
Yes, we can.
I told you that quote when we talked about it when I came over. Why am I not in this marriage?
Why am I not in this movie?
It's just so bad.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
it's
What's
so-
going on with Nicolas? What's
Exactly.
going on with Nicolas Cage, do you think?
By the
Like,
way,
drugs.
That girl was hot.
she was too hot for him. You should
soups
know.
cute.
You should
Yeah.
know. Fucking
Chris
God
said
damn
he
it.
ran out of cocaine, and that's what happened.
I don't think that that's a bad
I
hypothesis.
don't think it's wrong.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about Nicolas Cage. He's like massively obsessed with Elvis Presley, and it's kind of tracking in the way that he is aging. Because take any given picture of the two of them at the same age and put it next to each other. Because Nicolas Cage and Elvis Presley later in life both have this like puffiness that comes from like
Drug
probably too many drugs.
Yeah.
Too many drugs, too much booze,
And too
like,
much shoe polish, hair color.
and too much belief in oneself as being like way more important than you are.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like Nicolas Cage is just like doesn't see anything wrong with getting a girl that hot. It's like there's a problem here.
Yeah.
You in no way deserve somebody who looks like that. So there's something wrong.
Deserve.
No,
You don't deserve
at
that.
all. You don't.
You didn't work for this.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he did. I
mean, he
mean,
made
that
that
money.
money. He made money,
He made
but-
that money. Yeah. Who knows? And it's Hollywood is a strange fucking town, man. It really is.
It is a weird place.
It's a weird place because I'm 37. I consider myself in a lot of ways an adult. But then it's weird because I interact with people who are my age from back home.
Right.
Ohio.
Oh God.
When they
Right.
have fucking children and mortgages and
whenever I was at home,
very quote unquote grown up lives.
Yeah.
Whenever
It's just
I
different.
whenever
It's
I was
very
at
different.
home, I was having conversations with people. I'm in my late 20s, and I was having conversations with people where I was the only one in the room, and everybody else was talking about fucking leaf blowers.
Oh man.
So yeah, like a Midwest early 30s, late 20s is very, very, very,
Very different.
from a California.
But 37 on fucking LA dating apps. So I'm matching with men 37 to 46.
Right.
They are not Midwest 37 to 46. There are a lot of them. This ties into the Nick Cage thing where I'm like, how the fuck do you pay your bills?
Right.
Like, how do you live? How do you get
Like they
by?
don't have jobs.
It's like watching House
They don't
Hunters.
have jobs.
They're like,
Or they're like randomly like, I'm like, so what do you do? And they're like, oh, I take improv classes. It's like,
I pickle things
how,
and
No,
sharpen
literally
pencils.
that
Literally.
is House Hunters, where they're like, she makes pottery on the side
He
and
trains gerbils.
Yeah, you're like,
You're like,
what?
what? Yeah.
What?
No,
Their
it
budget's
is.
$1 million. Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
they're
what?
looking for a place by the beach, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have a full-time fucking job,
Right.
and I
I couldn't even buy a camper.
So yeah, listeners, like I want to know, like, is this an LA thing or is this like a global thing? Am I missing out on something where, like, I'm 37 and I'm expecting like a certain, I don't know, maturity? Like people I'm matching with that don't know the difference between like weather and weather
Right.
at 41
or
Yeah.
quiet and quiet,
or quiet and quite. Yeah. Yikes.
I mean, and listen, I enjoy a good improv class as much as the next person, but if you are not doing dick else, like
Right,
that,
yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
And
Going
the
to
only-
improv classes is not a career.
It's not a job.
That's also something like, here's the thing. If you're 22 and you're like, if I match with you and you're like, I take improv classes and that's like what you do, I almost accept that more because it's like maybe your parents are still helping you out. Maybe
100% your parents
like-
are still helping you out. As a 22-year-old
Yes.
who lived here
Yes.
and tried to be
Yes.
an actor at
Yes.
that age,
Yes.
0% chance are you paying for improv classes without help from your parents.
and
if
zero
you're not doing anything else.
0% do I judge you. Follow your fucking bliss or whatever. But at a certain point, what age does it become like? At 37, I don't want to have to contend with your roommates.
Zero,
No.
at all. Don't want to do it.
Right?
Don't wanna do it.
No.
And I don't want to be your next roommate.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No, I grew out
I
of
want you
that
to have
at
toilet
20.
paper in your bathroom.
I grew
right?
out of that at 23 whenever
you.
I was living with somebody who like I
Same.
didn't know who was going to be on my couch every morning. That was my life from like
Yeah.
20 to
And
23.
that's fine. I
But
love
it
that.
wasn't fine. It was awful and
It was-
I hated it.
it was-
like
Dude, we all did that in our
course.
20s. We all did it, and it's like we made it through. And but
But I'm
now
not
I
going
like
back there.
37.
I'm
I
not
know.
turning back
I can't
around.
go back. I
0%
cannot go
chance.
backwards.
No.
I've come from that, and that's the thing. When I was thinking about like what I wanted to do with my job and trying to get a raise and trying to get, ahead. I'm like, well, here are my other options. Like I could move out and I could move back in with roommates and stuff like that. And I was like, I cannot fucking do that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Anthony and I talked about it once where we had a friend who you guys know, but we'll save it. But like we have a friend who was looking for a roommate to live in a house.
Yeah.
Like so we would live in a house together with a pool and like all of that stuff. And I like this person a lot, but I was just like, no.
I guess it depends on how big the house is.
It is a big house, but I'm still just like, no. Like
You're sharing kitchen space.
I want to live in an apartment or a house with my fiance or by myself. I do not want to live with other people. As much as I like them, I want to be able to go into my living room and like lay on my couch in my underwear and watch Queer Eye all day if that's what I want to do.
Exactly.
Like,
yes. I want to monologue to myself while like dancing and eating Pringles.
Absolutely. Yes. I don't have to be worried about someone walking in my own house. Like I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
ever.
Never go back.
Yeah.
God, roommate situation.
Even if they're great people, I'm like, just no
we could
thanks.
make a whole new podcast just about roommates, bad roommate stories.
Oh my God.
Shit, man.
Jesus.
That's some Patreon content, you guys.
Dude, fucking
I got a good story.
when he moved out, I'll bleep that name. Holy fucking shit, did I find some shit in my place. You remember he lived with me, right? Yeah. There was like a block of cheese under the couch. Like a half block of Colby.
That's a waste of cheese. It's a crime.
Exactly.
That's a crime against cheese. And,
Yeah.
that will not stand, sir.
So many like random like half empty like Mountain Dew.
No,
That is not surprising.
That's
No.
so gross.
And like fucking overflowing ashtrays. Like it was almost like the most precarious sculpture of ash and cigarette butts.
Oh, girl. That
Like, don't touch it. The whole thing will
I can
fall.
relate to with my previous roommate situation where I was like the one voice of reason that was like, guys, we have a fucking balcony. Don't smoke in this house. And they'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I come home 15 minutes early from work and I'm like, why the shit are you guys smoking? Where there's carpet. There's like burnt shit in the carpet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
my
Carpet
God. Nightmare.
ruined.
Nightmare.
Yeah.
God, yeah, we should have we're going to have some Patreon content that's just talking about bad roommates. It's
Yes,
coming.
send in your bad roommate stories. I want to hear them.
Lord.
Send us stories where you hooked up with a roommate.
Oh, that shit's going bad. That's turning.
Oh my God. I am opening the door on many shame receipts.
You just opened some
God,
shit
you
up.
opened a locked door in your brain. You're just like, oh, I didn't know about
my
that.
God. So it wasn't like dating, but it's like you're accidentally hooking up with a roommate. I want to hear those
Accidentally?
stories.
In quotes?
I fell on it.
I just fell right into it.
Oopsie-daisy. Whoa, slippery floor.
Slipped on a banana peel.
And penis in.
Boom. There we go.
Oh,
That's
God.
a visual. Oh, God.
So what are we gonna fuck, marry, kill
Well,
bad
hold
boys?
on. We have a new patron.
That's right.
Yes.
We have a new patron that we need to shout out on the podcast. Charlie Louise K.
Hi, Charlie.
Welcome to our happy family. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon. We are so happy to have you and just so grateful that you are joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, big hugs.
Yeah.
All right, so
I was thinking about for Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
I know I'm going to throw this out there.
Okay.
Only because we talked about Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Nicolas Cage characters.
Okay. I'm willing.
Okay. All right.
My heart is open.
Nicolas Cage characters. Oh my God.
I have two I'm debating between at the moment.
Oh
but you know
God.
what? I know which one I'm going to pick.
Okay, go for it.
Raising Arizona.
Okay. I'm going to go National Treasure.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to think of a Nicolas Cage movie.
Con
I don't
Air.
know why I can't
Adaptation.
think of any.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Didn't he have a ponytail in Con Air?
The worst.
Oh,
He's so gross.
That's bad.
What was
You
that
know,
movie? No, where he was the what was it? Punisher? Where he's a Punisher, or like he was like on a motorcycle
Oh,
and
yeah,
he's
what is
like
that
Oh,
movie?
so he
something
had
with
like a
his
skull
wife.
that was on fire.
Yeah, he had the fire skull.
Hey Chris, what's the Nick Cage movie where he's on the skull on fire motorcycle?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I'm gonna pick Ghost Rider.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so
Oh, terrible. You're
they're
gonna-
well, yeah.
It's Nicolas fucking Cage. Why am I not in this marriage?
Well, you know what though? Like Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage will still a baby for you.
Yeah.
So what level of commitment are you looking at? But you know what? National Treasure Nicolas Cage will steal the fucking Declaration of Independence for you.
And Ghost Rider Nicolas Cage will avenge the fuck out of you.
True.
Ghost Rider Nicolas Cage got like Eva Mendes. So
yeah.
there's
yeah.
That's why it's so unbelievable. There's no way.
None
No way.
whatsoever.
He's not getting any of these women because what was it? It was Holly Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Holly
In
Hunter.
wasn't she the one in Raising Arizona? And then the fucking hot woman,
Blonde. Yeah. What the heck's her name?
Diane.
Kruger?
Is that who that was?
I think it is.
Yeah, in
National
National
Treasure.
Treasure. So I mean, he's not getting any of these women. Let's be honest.
Right.
God, that's hard.
That is hard.
But you know
It
what?
is Diane Kruger. Yeah.
I know I've seen
I'm gonna-
Ghost Rider, but I have blocked that out of my memory.
I have two.
I'm gonna fuck Ghost Rider.
Oh shit! Okay,
Going in hot.
Yeah.
Coming in with the hot
I'm gonna fuck
take.
that. I love, you know me, I love my sad angry boys. I love that fucking bad boy. I want to.
you should have picked
Get
Con
on
Air
that.
then.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh,
so gross.
fucking Face Off, Nick Cage.
Shit!
Okay. Are you
How
changing
did I
it?
not?
All right,
You're changing it,
You
aren't you?
should change it.
Okay.
Oh no, because it's too similar to Con Air. Like it's
We're
the
not doing
back and
Con
back.
Air.
But we're not doing Con Air.
Oh yeah.
We're doing National Treasure,
shit.
Raising Arizona, and now
And whatever you
Now
want.
Face Off.
Face
Face
Off.
Off.
Face
Face Off.
off.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
he's the worst in that movie.
He is the worst.
And John Travolta. Actually, John
Travolta's
Travolta's the worst.
Like, let's be real.
The worst.
So
John
much bad
Travolta
dancing.
doing Nicolas Cage's
Oh my
character
God.
is
Oh.
the worst.
Guys, I'm gonna go home
The
and watch
worst.
Face Off. Like,
Oh.
I think I'm gonna do that.
No, you're
Dude.
going out tonight with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
fair.
gotta have I Met Your Friend Christina.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So, okay, yeah, I'm gonna fuck Con Air, Nicolas Cage.
Wait, we're not doing Con Air.
Or fuck
Face Off.
Face Off, Nicolas Cage.
Okay, you're gonna
I'm
fuck
gonna
face
do
off.
it. Yeah,
You're gonna fuck his face off.
I am. I
right off.
definitely am.
Face.
Hopefully, it doesn't come off and it's John Travolta because that would be
Ugh.
What a bad surprise.
All of it's a bad surprise.
Yes, I am going to. Oh God. Oh God, that's hard. Which one to marry?
I
I don't want
know.
to marry any of the Nick Cages. None of them.
I don't want to marry any of you.
I don't want to till death do us part any of these people. Oh God.
You gotta pick one.
I do.
I know what I
Raising
would pick.
Arizona and National Treasure.
You know, I'm a big fan, and I hate this about myself. I'm a big fan of the big romantic gesture. I was raised on 80s and 90s, and I'm going to marry National Treasure, Nick Cage.
Oh, I wait. Where you
Cassie
went?
and I were on the same
I thought
page
you were
with the
gonna-
big romantic gesture because I was
I want a daring and ambitious gentleman to
There you
steal
go.
the Declaration of Independence from me.
There you go.
did he steal it for a
No.
woman?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I would have turned it around so it'd have been like
but you
made
see,
it around.
Raising Arizona, he stole that baby for his woman.
Yeah.
like
I
that
know,
was
but
a romantic
I don't
gesture.
like kids.
There you go. There you go.
Okay,
I'd rather have the Declaration of
I feel like you got
Independence.
yours, Keegan.
I feel like I do too.
Okay.
Too. Same.
I feel like I do too. So hold on, we got the Face Off guy.
Yeah. He's pretty fucking terrible. That movie is terrible, actually.
You know what? Here's the problem with this is that all of these are kind of very blurry in my brain. Like
I know
all of
we're
these
trying
are
to-
all of these are like
I
water
just see
paintings.
Nick Cage's face.
Yeah,
at me.
they're water paintings in my brain,
Yeah.
except for Raising Arizona. I think I'm going to marry Raising Arizona.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I'm going to marry him because I'm just like, you know what? You're an idiot, but your heart is in the right place
He's
here.
definitely the
yeah.
cutest.
And
one
he's
in
the cutest. He's like the youngest Nick
Right.
Cage.
Yeah.
So he's the cutest. The thing about Nick Cage is like sometimes he's all right. Like you watch Adaptation and you're like, you're good in Adaptation.
Yeah.
And you're good in Raising Arizona. And I think I'm kind of like, that
You're
might
not
be
good
why I
in
want to marry him
Con
in Raising
Air.
Arizona. You're terrible in Con Air. You're not good in Face Off. You're okay in National Treasure. So I am going to. Oh, this is hard.
So you're marrying Raising Arizona.
I'm going to marry Raising Arizona because that's a level of commitment that I appreciate.
Okay.
Marry him. Those two are hard for me because
Dude,
I
do
feel
you know
like
what a fucking supervillain is like in bed? Like a fucking sociopath, crazy person
Jesus.
is like in bed.
right. I mean, that's kind of where I was because I feel like Face Off Nick Cage is going to be better in bed, but
He is gonna do some wacky
weird
shit.
some
Yeah.
weird shit. But because
I didn't know
and
my
the
legs
only
did
reason
that.
the only reason why I would choose him is because like when is National Treasure Nick Cage going to have the time?
It's true.
He's very busy
Yeah.
for like 4 movies.
Very busy.
He's busy to make the time to fuck you. But the chance
That's
of
a lot
fucking
of
in
long
the
distance.
but the chance of fucking in the Oval Office goes up considerably.
So true.
Yeah.
So
Lincoln's bedroom. Ayo.
but the chance of accidentally fucking John Travolta. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and kill Face Off, and I'm gonna fuck National Treasure.
Okay.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to marry National Treasure because that is the kind of adventure I am here for.
That is fun. It's like an
Love
escape
wacky
room.
hijinks.
Love. I have always wanted to be an archaeologist.
Yep.
We are going to go travel the world together. We are going to find all kinds of relics.
So he's like, I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence, and you're like, no, we're
going
gonna
to steal the Declaration of Independence. I already got it. Boom.
You are right.
I am.
That is true. That's actually way more fun because I have to live in a trailer if I
It's
marry
true.
Raising Arizona
See?
guy.
Yep. Winning.
You are right.
I'm winning in this one.
You
You're
are.
like, I get to
You have
chop.
the right choice.
I
Yeah.
am going to fuck Raising Arizona because
Yeah.
he's definitely the best looking. And you know what?
He's dumb, but his heart
He's
is in the
dumb.
right place.
But you know what? Dumb people can fuck too.
Yeah. They can fuck. They can fuck good. They can fuck good, Cassie, because their
You fuck
brains,
real good.
Their brains
They
are
gotta
not
think about it.
preoccupied with other shit.
I got to focus real hard on this fucking.
I'm just focused on fucking. That's it.
Oh my god, how many people have we offended with the top of our show? Like
Everyone.
literally
Everyone.
every single person
Everyone.
is turned off right now.
No one thinks they're dumb, so they're not gonna feel offended by that.
Oh my god.
She ain't talking about me. So I am fucking Raising Arizona, and I am killing Face Off for sure
Okay.
because it's the fucking best worst.
It is the best worst.
I mean,
It's the best
it
short
is a
of
movie
worst.
that I want to watch when I'm like 3 glasses of wine in.
there's
Yeah.
something
And I'm just
about
like,
it,
put that shit
peach
on.
or something. I remember
Ugh.
like it's brought up like a couple times in the movie. It's fucking
And
cringe
also the
worthy.
premise is
excited I am
ludicrous.
to live the life of National Treasure.
Yeah,
Do
I
get
see
to do
it in
this?
your eyes.
Oh, I'm
completely like.
I'm
You
stoked.
you really want to steal the Declaration of Independence?
if
I'm
it goes
calling
missing,
people.
guys.
I'm not saying I
It's
don't.
Cassie.
I'm not saying I don't want to. I'm
Amazing.
saying I'm here
You know
for
what
that.
we should do as well sometime? Our Harrison Ford
Yeah,
character.
Indiana Jones. Totally.
Because,
That's where
yeah.
my mind went. Yes,
Yes,
let's do it.
yeah.
Okay, we'll save
Yeah,
it.
next time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Well, let's take 5 guys and we'll be right back with stories.
Okay.
Si tu día suena algo como tú te mereces una modelo y si no te rindes al oír tú te mereces esta cerveza elaborada para aquellos con un espíritu luchador. Modelo, la marca de los luchadores. Todo con medida, importada por Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
And we're back. Hello.
Hello. Cassie, you get to go first.
I'm up first. This one comes to us from Reddit, and it is called Hell Date. It keeps getting
well,
better.
that's not good.
Hell Date.
Can't wait.
I want to see this movie. That's a good movie title.
Creepy dude, creepy first date. So, not too much backstory, but it's a long story. I have a broken heart and went into the thirst trap known as Tinder. The guy was kind of cute. the guy I matched with on Tinder at like 6 a.m. I only know that because I was woken up by his message. Like I said, he was kind of cute, so I answered, and he asked to call. I thought, how forward?
Wow, it's
At
6 in the morning. Go
back the
fuck
fuck
yourself,
off. That's exactly
thirsty.
right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I'm immediately blocking you. We're
Really?
done.
Oh my god.
Unread. I thought, how forward? And gave him my number. He called immediately. I was impressed with his courage to do this. He asked-
How I have so many questions at this point. First of all, she must have just joined Tinder because there's no fucking way.
No.
I used to be very cavalier with my phone number too. When I first got on Tinder, I was like, everybody have my phone number, and I got so many maybe Joshuas and maybe Daniels and
Oh,
everything, and I was
absolutely
just
not.
like, that's enough, sir.
You're like, I'm done with this.
No more maybes.
No more.
It's an episode title if I've ever heard one.
I was impressed with his courage to do this. He asked me what I was going to do, and I told him, work. I am boring. He said he let me know he was not working that day. I had to work early that morning, so
Then why are you up at 6? Why are you awake right now?
Why are you on Tinder?
I'm highly opposed to all of this.
He's like
Sick
psycho.
person is
Oh my
awake right now.
God.
Sorry. I'm
Oh.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I had work early that morning, so I was getting ready as we talked. He was telling me about his car he was so proud of, odd thing to tell a stranger, and that he was lived with his mom. Living with your mom at the age of 31 is a red flag for me. I am a college student, and it just threw me off. He asked if he could see me that day, and I said, sure.
No.
His sweet baby
Red
angel.
flags. So many.
Well, she's a college student though. Like I feel like you like learn these things. Oh no.
I get off work at 5 and we can meet halfway. That way neither of us have to be driving 4 hours tonight. Wait, what? This is all
Okay.
red nose.
Okay. All right. Quick recap. A guy that lives 4 hours away from a girl
Well, I'm assuming 4 hours total, back and forth.
matches with a girl
31 years old guy.
who is
Also,
like
your radius
at
is too
least
big
like
if you're matching
8-9
that
years like difference
No.
in like age range at 6 a.m. in the morning and is like thirsty.
These are all absolutely nots for me. None. You're going to make me drive. You're going to wake me up. You live with your mom. We're just nipping this thing in the bud right the fuck now. Absolutely
all
not.
I can see is like a NASCAR thing where there's like
Flags,
red
flags.
It's like that meme where they're like, I made a scarf from all the red flags you gave me.
He asked me to go all the way to his house to meet him and said he'd cook dinner. Me, being the hungry college kid I am, agreed and threw out another red flag.
Stop. I'm sorry. Time out. This is going to take forever to get through this story. But I have to say, honey, she must have been new to Tinder because I'm like, girl, just hold on for someone in your city who's willing to take you out to a restaurant. You would have had to wait for another 24 hours.
Yeah,
no,
if-
not
Max.
even 24 minutes. Dude, you saw the number of matches I got from doing like 25 minutes of swiping. 20
Swiper,
minutes.
no swiping.
Exactly.
I got off work and got a small gas station burger because I had a bad feeling about this whole thing. I told him I was.
So you still bought food, girl?
She was like, I'm going to go ahead and eat. Just in case. Gas station burger, by the way. This is the most college story I've ever heard. I told him I was on my way and that I'd be there in 2 hours. My first day of classes was the next day. So I used the time in the car to calm down from being so irritated that I was driving all the way to Memphis, Tennessee. This is important information. I get to where the GPS says his address is, and the house is littered with Christmas ornaments. This is in the middle of January, and I thought, oh no.
Christina, our eyes just locked. And we were like,
I don't know why.
know exactly what this is. No.
Run, girl, run.
She does say,
Run.
oh no.
Oh, no.
I called him and asked if this was his house with all the Christmas lights and lasers, and he confirmed.
I'm gonna pee my fucking pants. Lasers. How do you have money for lasers and you don't have money for your own fucking place.
Lasers. It's his parents' house.
Why do your parents spend money on lasers and not like your education or getting you out of the house?
Lasers are cheaper.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
She goes, I hate the Christmas holiday, and I knew it was not a good match at all. This was the final red flag as far as I'm concerned. I had just driven 2 hours to get there right after work, so I needed a break from driving. I let him know I was definitely there, and he came out in his house in nothing but red flannel pajama pants.
No.
Are
you in the North Pole?
Mad.
Why are you in flannel pajamas?
I am mad. I am dressed
no.
nicely, and this man is in his jammies.
This motherfucker woke up at 6 and did not get dressed.
No,
He woke up at 6 a.m., called you, and then did not get
It's
dressed.
7 p.m. by the way, because she left work at 5. I'm assuming.
honey.
Oh my
No.
God.
He walked up to me and kissed me on my lips without my permission, and he had to stretch to do so because he is so short. Height doesn't matter, but it added to the package somehow. I was kind of taken aback. I had never met this man in my life. He takes me inside to meet his mom and
How fucking horrified would you be?
and grabs my ass in front of her without my permission.
Oh my God.
I had dated a man for 4 years and never would he disrespect me or his mom like that. I was angry. Then this guy asks me what I want for dinner. His mom says, we have macaroni in the fridge. I kid you not. He takes out a plate of leftover macaroni out of the fridge and warms it up for me. To my house. I'll make you dinner. 2-hour drive.
And your mom like reheats some macaroni in the microwave. Oh my
I have to
God.
say, I don't know if it's just like where I'm
Oh
at
my
with like coming
God.
off of this week or the number of like White Claws that we have consumed, but this is making me laugh. This is the most horrifying. Like
There's more.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Go
my
ahead.
God. You ladies know now from being on my Tinder.
Oh, I know.
Now, these are
This is
not
what's out there.
This is why these stories are so prolific, because this date happens
Yeah.
all the fucking time.
Yeah.
All the time.
We go back to his room for privacy and a clean place to sit. Oh God,
Oh, no.
that's not
What's
promising.
the inside of that house look like?
I know. All that day he wasn't working and the house is a wreck, but whatever. I'm lazy sometimes too. I sit on the edge of his very pink bed. I also hate the color pink. He has the TV up so loud that we have to yell to communicate. I jack the remote from him and turn that sucker down. Then we really talk. He tells me that he has ADHD and I tell him that I have depression. He asks me what I have to be depressed about.
This date.
Totally how depression works, by the way. It's definitely a choice. Don't let us crazies fool you, she says in like asterisks, you know.
Yeah.
Then he climbs atop of me again without permission.
No.
And ends up knocking the macaroni on the floor.
Oh my God.
I shove him off me and tell him to pick it up. He picked up the macaroni and sat back on the bed. He tells me that I look young and pretty, like I'm 15. It makes him want it makes him want intercourse with me.
Yo.
What the heck? I didn't say anything. Oh my God. He got up to show me all the nice clothing he had in his closet. All the nice things he could have put on instead of pajama pants.
Oh
He
my
then tries
God.
again to climb on top of me.
Okay, you need to leave immediately.
Because he's so small, I throw him to the other side of the bed. I'm pretty mad at this point. He sits up laughing and scoots closer to me to tell me how much he likes my shirt while he is reaching to grab my chest without my permission. I slap him so hard, his mom heard it from the other end of the house. I told him repeatedly that he needed to back off. I went to check on his mom, who was hacking up a lung in the living room. Oh my God. And get her
You
some
were checking
water.
on his mom.
I stayed with her for a bit. He realized I wasn't going back to his room, so he came to join us. He still has not called me by my name. Every other word is honey, baby, darling, sweetheart.
This is I'm overloaded. I feel
know,
like you
it's so
short-circuited me.
This is the worst story.
You're like, I've broken you.
This is the worst story I've heard in a while.
There's so much things. There's so much to be offended and pissed off about.
know.
I'm just like,
It's
I can't even
fucking
like
wild.
laugh. I'm
What's
just
wrong
like
with him?
literally like I want to
what's
burn
wrong
you
with him?
down.
Something's wrong
Wild.
with this person.
It's-
like,
Wild.
wow.
It's a wild ride.
Oh, honey.
He asked me what I wanted to do, and I asked what should have been a rhetorical question. I asked what there is to do in Memphis. He tells me in one of the greatest metropolitan cities in Tennessee that there is a bar and a gym. I tell him that I'm driving, so I can't drink, and I don't want these adorable jelly rolls from working out. I said we could walk. He said, "Yeah, let me put." Why is she? Even
I don't
walking
understand.
With this guy at this
I don't
point?
know either. I'm like, I would have been out that door so fast. He literally sexually assaulted you.
Yeah,
Bye.
exactly.
Yeah.
Bye. But I mean, to something that you said, Christina, I mean, she's young. It's clear to me that she is young because
Also, she
anybody,
drove 2 hours, so I'm sure she's just like.
But I mean, I would have
guess
left at that point because,
let it
like,
ride?
but that's me at 29 saying that. Me at 20, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oof. And I look at the time. It's been a half an hour. All that happened in a half hour, you guys. That's a lot. That's a lot to happen.
Yeah, a half hour is no time.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, she says all this trash in a half hour.
Yep, exactly.
I said I should get back home because it's the first day of school the next day. I needed to get some sleep. He's like, but aren't you having a good time?
No.
No.
Sir, no.
He's like, I'm a good kisser, right? You don't want me to answer that question.
Oh my god.
This man is
Gross.
31. Like, there's something stunted about him.
Oof.
Because
31, that's right.
it's
Oh
a
my
weird
God.
like all
he's
of
like
this is
a
very weird.
decade older.
Oh my God, 31. I forgot.
Yeah, all of this
Yeah.
is
This
super
is the
weird.
most teenage actions I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah. No, he's
Oh.
Yeah.
We get back to my car and he tries to kiss me again without my permission. I stop his face with my hand. He asks if he'd ever see me again. I said, probably not. I left. It gets better. The next day, he messages me twice through Messenger to tell me he had a great date that day. I said, cool. Did you have any leftover macaroni? I'm so salty at this point. He says, you are very ungrateful. You should be thankful for that.
Oh,
Then he
my God.
blocked me.
Oh, you motherfucker.
That's fucking
I am
crazy.
so offended right now. I'm so upset.
wow.
That was a wild ride.
It's a roller coaster. For
There's
sure.
something,
glass
but
case
you know
and
what? I
emotion.
really, not that I'm trying to make excuses for anyone, but I really do feel like there's something wrong with him. Like, that's that's not normal,
That was wild.
right?
Yeah.
I feel safe. Like, yeah.
The macaroni. I'll make you dinner. There's some
my
leftover
JJ.
macaroni.
All of it.
Oh,
all
no.
of it's
In his
bad.
jammies.
All of it's bad.
Oh,
he tried to
no.
climb. A grown fucking man tried to climb on top of me in flannel pajamas.
In his
no.
bright pink bedroom.
No. It's a no.
It's
With his
that's
mom in
wild.
the kitchen. It's a
Hacky
no.
nipple lung.
Ugh.
Ugh.
The worst. All right. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I had just gone through a particularly bad breakup and was apathetically scrolling through Tinder while simultaneously housing a pint of Ben & Jerry's and a bottle of white wine in a bid to make myself feel better.
Oh,
Yeah,
girl.
understood.
Hey, kindred spirit.
We've all
nice to
been there.
meet you.
My thumb was just about to lock from all the left swiping I was doing when I came across one of the most beautiful humans I had ever seen in my life. This guy looked like if a young Paul Newman was also a California surfer.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Opaque, bright blue eyes, sandy blonde hair, and a tan. Now, I don't consider myself to be a bad-looking person. I'd say I'm a solid 7, 7.5, but this guy was a total 10.
Yep.
I knew-
Christina would have swiped left on that and be like, I don't need to know if he likes me or not.
You don't need to go there.
I'll just go ahead and say no.
I denied you. Don't you forget it.
Yeah, exactly. I swiped left
I
on
didn't
you,
even
motherfucker.
want to date you. I knew he was completely out of my league, but I took another bite of my urban bourbon, summoned all my courage, and said to hell with it. Swipe right.
Oh, this girl's my hero.
To my complete surprise, he actually matches with me. I'm over the moon, excited and nervous, and we start chatting. Conversation is slow, but not bad. I find I'm doing most of the talking, but I'm willing to make concessions because so hot.
And you're like, ooh, my back really hurts today. And they're like, why? And you're like, from carrying this conversation.
Exactly. Ooh. Burn. And anyway, he's answering all my questions and conversation is getting a little flirty, so I'm taking it as a win. Eventually, I start hinting that I'd like to meet up sometime. He agrees and suggests the weekend and says he'd love to take me to this art exhibit. Super cool.
What? That guy likes art? Oh
right?
my God.
I know. I'm like, you've got me so far.
You're like, please excuse me.
He says it's kind of a trek, but something he's been wanting to do, so he'll drive. I spent the next several days obsessing over finding just the right outfit and didn't Google where the place was until the morning of the date. Can relate. I would have gone and bought a whole new outfit.
Yes. Well, what do we do for Trey Day?
Oh, completely. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
You're getting a new manicure. You're getting your shit together.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about where you're going.
Exactly.
She says, it's an art installation in the middle of the freaking desert 2 hours away.
Oh.
Still, I think this could be cool. And again, he's so hot that I don't feel like I can pass this up.
Yeah.
Who takes a
be so fun to go out in the desert
date on something like that, especially like Tinder? You know what I mean? It's like coffee or drinks. Like, don't meet
I'm gonna
cute
be
like
in
an
a car
entire
with you
fucking
for
day.
2 hours to go to. You gotta be with just the right kind of person.
Oh
to do that.
yeah.
So he gets to my house and he's just as gorgeous in person. We get to the car and start driving and conversation is stilted. He says almost nothing for the first half hour, doesn't even turn on the radio, making things super awkward.
Oh my God, you gotta have like
some
house
background noise.
music.
Yes.
Yeah, something in the
Anything.
background, please.
Eventually I ask if I can turn on the radio and he says, K. Just K. I'm starting to get kind of creeper vibes and realize I'm driving
no.
out into the middle of the desert with this dude I
ma'am.
don't even know.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
people thought Ted Bundy was hot too.
That's right. I kind of chuckle and make a joke about hoping he doesn't murder me.
Oh, God.
He doesn't even respond.
Oh, no.
Just silence.
Oh, no.
I'm starting to freak out.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm freaking out too. I'm like,
totally
are you
freaking out.
writing this posthumously?
Right.
After the longest car ride of my life, we get to the place. I will say it was kind of cool. Lots of freestanding art pieces in the desert, and to my relief, a handful of other people.
Oh, God. Thank God.
He gets out of the car and doesn't say anything to me or help me out of the car or anything.
Wow.
Just starts immediately walking over to one of the pieces, leaving me trailing behind to catch up.
Oh.
I run over after him, and by the time I get to the piece, he's got his phone out taking selfies. Then goes to hand me his phone and doesn't say anything. I get the hint that he wants me to take his picture.
Does he not know how to use his words?
I just kind of look at him bewildered before he says, "Do you mind?" Stunned.
Motherfucker, do you mind?
Stunned, I take the camera and he poses nonchalantly while I take a handful of pictures, which he examines carefully before we move on to the next piece.
Oh, no.
He does this at every piece.
Brought a photographer.
No.
He was using me as his own personal Instagram photographer.
Yep.
my God.
Even going so far as to make me take new pics if the first round wasn't to his liking, giving me suggestions on angles and pulling up examples from his Instagram.
Oh no.
This is when I find out that he's a quote-unquote social media influencer and took me to the exhibit for content for his page. Now, I'm stuck in the middle of the desert, 2 hours from home with this guy, and I just want to melt into the sand. I didn't even get to enjoy any of the art because I was too busy taking pics. After we hit every installation, he walks back to his car without another word, and I get the impression it's time to go home. Mission accomplished. The ride back goes basically the same as the ride there, except this time I don't even try and make conversation. He doesn't offer to get me a drink or dinner or anything, and at this point, I'm hangry from not having eaten all day.
Oh my God.
When we get back to my house, he leans over and tries to kiss me.
Wait. Okay. So my theory was she like walked out or whatever, and he's like, oh, I'm not really into her or whatever. And it's just like,
well, I can use this for pictures.
exactly. So, but
still make a day out of it.
he
No,
still,
I think he thinks he's so fucking hot that it doesn't matter. And
He
he's
can do
gonna
whatever.
get exactly what he wants out of all of this.
the worst.
He looked shocked when I pulled away and gave him a look of disbelief. He
Right.
said, should I come up? I almost laughed out loud before saying, no, I don't think so.
No.
He says he had a great time and would love to do it again sometime.
You're like, I'd rather not though.
But
So-
what's my name?
Yeah, can
Well,
you
what's
tell
my
me
name?
my name?
What's my
tell
name?
me one thing about me. I don't say anything and get out of his car and go inside without looking back. I unmatched him and blocked his number immediately.
Good
when
for
I
you.
checked on his IG a few days later to see if he had posted the pics, he didn't even have the decency to credit the photographer.
Oh, fuck him.
She says, what a prick.
Yes.
Moral of the story, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Can you
God.
fucking imagine?
Oh my God. All right. Well, mine I got from Cassie, who forwarded this one to me from
Hey.
Reddit. Too long, didn't read. Never let an overly wasted date crash on your couch.
Fair.
Okay, so she says, I've got a really bad track record when it comes to dating. I'm doing really well if the dude has all of his teeth, has a driver's license, and no major financial issues. Girl, same. Same. We just talked about that at the top of the podcast.
Teeth are a must.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely necessary.
She says, well, I thought I found a winner a few years ago. No major legal issues, stable career, driver's license, all of his teeth. So we hung out a couple times.
Teeth have been a problem.
She's like,
clearly.
bingo.
And then we decided to go on an official date. She'll start by saying, I knew he had a beer before coming to pick me up because he had just bought some fancy beer glasses and sent me a pic of them. Cool, normal thing to do.
Beer glass. Oh,
Having
glasses.
having like a beer before a date. There are a lot of times where I'll like do a little like pregame before like meeting
Get
up.
yourself
Just
nice
to-
and
just
loosened up.
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little White Claw.
Loosey-goosey. Yeah, sure.
But like literally not even like a full drink because you don't know, especially if you're going to meet
You
someone
need
for
yourself
drinks
to be in your
All of your
in your right
yeah,
mind. But it's
exactly.
just like I know now the correct amount. It's just like half a glass of wine or whatever just to get like chill.
base
But
level.
So she's like, she thought he had a beer. It's a normal thing to do. He came to pick me up and we went to a local hockey game. There were 2 minor snafus on the drive. Okay, so she brushed them off as lack of knowledge of the quirks of the roads near my house, some bad railroad tracks, and if you turn too sharply, you suddenly fear for your life because there's a huge ditch you can't see before you make a turn.
Oh, damn.
So he like
That's
isn't driving so good, and she's
no.
like, maybe he just doesn't know the roads. I'm making excuses. Oh,
some country roads. This is why she run into people without teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you live, girl.
We get to the hockey game, get our tickets for the seats, and then decide to buy 2 beers each so we don't have to hike back for refills. I get that.
That makes
All of
total
this-
sense. Any sporting event, that's what you want to
Oh
do.
my God. Hell yeah.
By the time I finish my first beer, he has already downed both of his beers.
Oh.
He offered to get me another, and I declined, saying I'd need to pee once I finish my second beer. And so I just get myself one if I wanted to later. He goes down and gets new beers, plural.
Oh, God.
And by the time he gets back to our seats, he's slurring his words.
Beer's one of those things that like I can like kick back some alcohol.
Yeah.
But I can't drink beers that fast. Like I think
Ugh.
that's a certain skill. If you can like down
I can't
several
either. I
glasses
get like
of beer,
full and my like
Yeah.
stomach starts to hurt.
Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah. She says, I start to get suspicious and ask him how many beers he had before picking me up. His response was a slurred this many as he held up 6 fingers.
Shut your fucking mouth.
No.
That's too many.
Yeah.
That's way too many.
Yeah. So during the game, a commercial comes on saying, don't text and drive. And then another came on saying, don't drive drunk. And this guy turns to me and brags, I text and drive while drunk.
Oh,
Oh
no. No,
I'm
sir.
calling an Uber and
That's-
leaving your ass here.
That's a
Goodbye, sir.
huge
red
turn
flag,
off.
yeah.
Huge red flag.
I'm also taking your keys and throwing them in the trash can because you do not need to be driving.
Yeah.
He also brags to me about the fact that he regularly drinks a few beers before going into work.
What?
That's problematic.
So he's an
That's a
incredibly proud
problem.
That is
alcoholic. Yeah.
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 huge.
This is a problem.
Yeah.
You're in danger.
No shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of red flags
So
tonight.
many.
It's
So many. Red flag city.
So many red flags. Oh, fuck. I'll have to cut that out.
Why?
Because I was going to go Red Flag City in the tune of Gotham City. And we can't fucking R. Kelly because he's a red flag.
True. He is a red. You don't have to edit it out now because you've
Shit.
explained it. But
I
also,
already know what you're talking about.
you know what I will say right the fuck now? You're listening to My Worst Date. I'm Keegan.
Oh, okay, I'm Cassie.
I'm Christina.
We're the worst. We suck at this.
Oh, man.
We're very bad at this, but
We
hey,
are
we
bad.
got it in. We got
did.
it in.
We did get it in.
Right
Okay.
in the middle of a story.
So, yeah, he proceeds to chug 2 more beers while I'm closing out the tab.
No thanks, dude.
Oh.
And because you told me the too long to read, I know she lets him crash on the couch, and I'm like, God, a saint. Because
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
No way. I'd make sure you got home safe because I'm a good person. But like, no way I'm letting you stay in my house.
Yeah. He can't even stand up straight, but is still insisting he's going to drive.
No, you're not.
I take his keys from him.
Good
And
girl.
we go back and forth for a while. And then finally, like, he lets her drive. So eventually she gets him in the passenger seat. Next problem is I don't know what apartment he lives in, and he's way too wasted by this point to give me directions.
Oh, Jesus. And you want to drive, son?
yeah.
No, thank you.
I mean, to be honest, again, she's a much nicer person than me. Who knows what I would do in this actual situation? But me sitting at this table right now is like, I've done my duty. I've gotten you to the doorstep of your
It's like,
apartment.
well, what do you do though? Like, you have a drunk person, you're in their car. They can't tell you where their house is. What the
Well, but
fuck do you do?
she
Do you
just doesn't
leave
know
them?
which-
You leave them. This is what I would do. I would leave them in their car
Take the keys
at the place, take the fucking keys,
and Uber home.
and Uber home.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, because I mean,
Pass out in your fucking car.
I feel the same way. I'm like, you took him as far as you can. Park the car, let him stay there. Be like, listen, buddy,
You
you're
got a
gonna
phone.
go ahead and
You'll figure
pass
it out.
out. You can put the keys somewhere in the car. He can find them later. He
Yeah.
won't find them while he's drunk. You know what I mean? And like, let him pass the fuck out. Like, but yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. So I get him settled on the couch. He passes out sitting up mid-sentence. Put a cup of water next to him, a trash can underneath him, and a blanket on the other side of the couch. This is a very organized person.
Nice
This is
person.
great. And a nice person.
Very nice person. Way nicer than me.
All is fine for a couple of hours. I'm a really light sleeper and sleep with the door slightly cracked so my cat can come and go as she pleases. Well, suddenly
this cat's like, shit's getting wild out there. I'm coming in.
I hear running water. I kind of roll over and look out the door and see him standing in the carpeted hallway, pissing on the floor.
Get the fuck out of my house. You get the fuck out of my house on carpet? Bitch.
On carpet.
No.
Fuck you.
On carpet. I scream, "What the fuck are you doing?" He slowly looks up, pissing the whole time, says, "Huh? Oh," and then stumbles 3 more feet into the bathroom.
While pissing?
While pissing.
Oh,
Then he's in the bathroom for a really long time. I decide to get up to see if he's passed out, put on my shoes to walk over my
Yeah.
piss-soaked carpet,
Gross.
listen at the door. I open it a crack and hear the shower running. Okay, cool. I've been the drunk idiot who's decided they need to shower randomly too. Same.
Same.
All right,
Yeah.
but can we tally up the number of beers this person has had? 6 before they got there, 2, 4, at least 6 while there. At
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
12
12?
beers.
minimum
Yeah.
12.
That's like a case. Almost a case of
It's a
beer.
lot of
Yeah.
beer. Okay.
Yeah. For a hockey game, which is like what, 2.5 hours long?
Yeah.
And like how many hours before you try? So you had like, you're supposed to have like one drink like an hour, one beer an hour your body can process. So he had like 12 beers in like 4 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
many.
It's way too many. So she throws a towel over the piss and goes back to bed. A while later, he walks into my room, butt naked.
No.
Floppy dick and all.
No.
Flaccid dick.
Get your
just
flaccid
flap it in
ass
the wind.
dick
It's so
outta
gross.
here.
Especially if you're already irritated with somebody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if I'm irritated with you, your dick is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Your flaccid penis is so fucking gross.
Get
to
outta
me.
here.
Get out of here.
Ugh.
So she's like, oh, okay. At this point, I need to pee. So I get up and go to the bathroom. And there is shit smeared literally everywhere. It's on the toilet seat, on the wall, on the floor. Bits are in the shower, and his shit covered boxer briefs are on the air vent on my floor.
Wait, though. Then he got in the shower. What happened? Why did that happen after the shower?
I freak out. If he did all this upstairs,
Oh, no.
what did he manage to do downstairs before his drunk
we
ass
have a
stumbled
multi-
up the stairs?
a multi-level situation happening.
All the levels. She runs downstairs. He pissed himself so badly on the couch that it had completely saturated the cushions. I realized there's no way this drunk ass cleaned all of the shit off of himself and run back upstairs. I tell him to get up with many other expletives.
Oh my God.
He's still drunk and mumbling, huh? Why? But you were so cool about everything.
Oh.
I begin yelling, get the fuck up now. And eventually he gets up, and sure enough, he did not clean all of the shit off of himself before getting into my bed.
No.
I'm screaming, and he's fumbling around to gather his stuff as I am trying to shove him out of my house. As he's trying to leave, I realize, did you get your shit covered boxer briefs off the air vent on my fucking bathroom floor? Did you get your shit covered boxer briefs off my goddamn floor? He offered to send me money, but I just wanted him out of my fucking house at that point. It was 4 a.m.
Can you imagine a bigger shame receipt
No.
than that guy is carrying
I
right
want
now?
this. I want this guy's story. I want this guy to fucking write in his story
that's the
about
day-
shitting an entire bathroom, an entire house, multiple levels.
That morning, him laying sober in his home is the day he decided to go to AA.
Exactly.
That's
I
the
hope
day
so.
he
Rock
was like,
bottom.
this I can't do
Oh
anymore.
my God.
Ooh, ow.
I sent him a text later offering to help find him a therapist to deal with his excessive drinking, and
Good girl.
also
God, she's so great.
to let him know how much the rug doctor costs for me to rent to clean up the mess. He left me $100 a week later to go towards the cost of cleanup, but I'm pretty sure the only reason he did was because he left his class ring at my house and wanted it back.
He left what?
His
class
ring?
Oh, first of all, come the fuck
my
on. Are you an adult man? Why are you wearing your class ring? Do you know anybody who wears their class ring?
No.
No.
Not after high school.
No.
No.
I think literally the day you graduate is when you take that off, right?
You might wear it. Listen, if you wore it through college, all right. But like after that, it's time to take that. If you're an adult person, it's time to stop.
That's fucking insanity to
God,
me.
we've been so shamey this episode, but really.
Really.
But
really. But
Really?
God damn, those stories were bananas.
Bananas.
Those were some bonkers stories.
I don't even know if we need to do a crazy in love tonight.
Oh, I have felt all the emotions, but
All
I'm
of
ready.
them.
My body's
Yeah.
ready, Cassie.
All right,
Deliver.
Do it. I need some of your White Claw.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So, are you guys ready for maybe one of the first crazy in love stories that when I thought about crazy in love, I was like, this is a story that needs to be done.
I am intrigued.
Oh, shit.
This is the story of Sid and Nancy.
That was on my list.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was on my.
Did I
no,
steal it?
It's okay. It's fine.
I'm stealing all your shit tonight.
I love this for
There's-
you
of course,
so much. I'm
Because
so happy.
First of all, I
Not
did the
happy,
sports.
but-
No, yeah, I did the sports one.
Yeah.
It's on the nose for me.
This is
Punk rock.
so you.
It's on the fucking nose for me. So I'll have you know, I dated the guy in high school. The guy I told you that had the like rebel flag in his house, and I was like, that's a no for me.
Yeah.
Looked just fucking like Sid Vicious. Was maybe
Wow.
100% the fucking reason I dated him.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm kind of a punk rock kid at heart.
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah.
so-
I think that's a good thing for high school you.
Yeah.
I think adult
Oh, no, adult
adult
me
me looks at Sid Vicious and is like, ooh,
well,
honey, eat something.
He's going to shit on my couch.
Yes.
he's definitely he
yes.
for sure is
Yes.
pissing all the way through all your couch
Yes.
cushions.
Yes.
He is 100% pissing on your floor, and he definitely shit all over you.
Absolutely, and doesn't care at
No,
doesn't
all.
care.
Doesn't
Like,
give a
at
fuck.
all about
Yeah.
it.
He will not give you $100.
No, 0% chance.
So I refrained from watching the movie Sid and Nancy, even though I loved that movie so fucking much when I was younger, along with SLC Punk and all those other great
Yeah.
punk movies that I was
Yeah.
into. But I did watch Sid and Nancy. It's called Who Killed Nancy. It was a documentary on Hulu, and then I also watched another documentary called Sad Vacation, read numerous articles, and so that's where most of my information came from. So it's a wild ride, that is for sure.
Okay.
So let me tell you a
Take
little
me on
bit
this ride,
yeah, let me
Cassie.
tell you a little bit about Sid first. Sid was born as John Simon Ritchie. He was born in May 10th in 1957 in London. He grew up with his mother. His father, basically after he was born, his mother his father dropped out of his life, and his mother was kind of a fucking mess. She's a fucking mess.
Dude,
Sid
like
says
post-war, like Britain and the like 15 years like after that were like really interesting from a sociology
aspect,
perspective. Yeah.
He his mom was a like horrible addict, became a horrible addict, moved them to Ibiza.
Ibiza. Did they have ham sandwiches?
They had ham sandwiches in
Yes.
Ibiza. And she used to use him as like, she used to drug mule drugs back into Spain, and she would like stuff his pants at like 2 years old, diapers and whatnot, with hash, and bring it into the country, which was
So mom
like,
of the year, pretty much.
total mom of the
Yeah.
year. She's a real wiener.
Winners.
He says one of his earliest memories of his mom is pushing him away so she could shoot up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a bad first memory.
yeah. So she's, again, mom of the year, as you said.
Some people
So-
shouldn't have kids. I'm just gonna put that on the table.
Yeah. It's they have a very tumultuous relationship. It's she's very she's an addict. She's a fucking addict.
Right,
She's-
which I understand and
Yeah.
I get it, and I'm not here to play the blame game with anybody,
Yeah.
but some people just shouldn't have kids, you
100%.
know, or you're just not in a place to do that. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So on the other side of the ocean, Nancy Spungen is born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and she is born in 1958, February 27th of 1958. She was described as kind of an emotionally disturbed child. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 15.
Oh, wow.
They had put her,
Young.
on barbiturates. They were she was heavily dosed, and just basically what everybody kind of describes her as, just a real fucking problem child. Her mom has issues with her, describes her as a problematic ever since she was a child. You know what I mean? And so at the age of 11, she moves into a behavioral boarding school, which in upstate New York. So, and pretty much stays there. At the age of 17, she is going to school in Colorado, in the University of Colorado. At the age of 17, she drops out and moves to New York City. She becomes a go-go dancer and a dominatrix and an all-around sex worker, and everything that they've talked about her about. Everybody used every term, so I'm not sure what the specific. I mean, some things I watched called her a prostitute. Some said that she was a dominatrix, and some were saying that she was a go-go dancer. I don't know if she inhabited
Any
all
and
of those jobs
things.
Right.
or
Yeah.
like what, avenue, but that was
Yeah.
what she did. And she, was going to live this New York lifestyle, and
Which no shame in any of those
Yeah,
professions.
no.
Yeah, and it makes me
No,
wonder
no
too
shame
if
at
she
all. She was
actually
making her money.
was schizophrenic or if she wasn't just headstrong and it
Yeah.
was the 50s and they were like, you must be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Abso-fucking-lutely. Totally
Yeah.
agree. And two, then she's put on these like heavy drugs too. So
Right.
who knows how that
Right.
fucked her up at an
15,
early
You're on all these like
11.
These
She was
ins-
moved into these.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
These
Yeah, and if you-
insanely
so if you weren't-
psychotropic like drugs.
if you weren't fucked up before, you are now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then put into a fucking boarding school
Yeah.
for like
Probably
behavioral
problem
issues?
children.
Just
Yeah.
behavioral issues.
So
I mean,
you're surrounding.
I'm always like skeptical of that, especially like when we just talked last week about
Yes.
fucking Kennedy or whatever. And it's just like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
you take like a headstrong
yeah.
kind of like
Take anyone who's a
maybe
little weird.
maybe like dyslexic or developmentally
God, could you
challenged, and
fucking
they're
imagine?
like,
Yeah.
or
you
even
need a
like
lobotomy or you're schizophrenic, and it's like, no, you just have ideas and you're a woman.
Exactly. And it's not like that.
Totally.
That's what happened when we taled about Betty last week.
Yes.
Same kind
Uh-huh.
of thing where it's just like
100%,
you
yeah.
take a woman who's got like her own thoughts and feelings about her life, or like maybe takes her own body into
That's
her own hands. and it's,
threatening
like,
to people
radical.
now.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And so-
Jesus.
Yeah.
As she's living in New York, and here's the thing: at the end of the day, she's making fucking money, and
She's
becomes
surviving in a
she's
hard
surviving.
city to survive in.
Exactly. She's one of the guys that was interviewed on the thing was like, some of his earliest memories. No one really has anything nice to say about Nancy, which is a little hard to swallow, just because I do think that in this time frame, she's headstrong. She's fucking super ambitious. She's out to get hers and has no fucking apologies. And in some articles I read, people were like, in the day and age of like the groupie who was like the strung out, skinny, like super scrawny, like model-esque, groupie, she was this like unapologetically full figured, which again, I'm watching everything.
She doesn't
any
look
picture-
full figure to
Thank
me.
you.
She looks like
I'm like, she looks normal. I'm
normal,
like,
yeah.
Right.
if that was heavy in quotation marks, I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck was
Well,
not?
and-
Because
but
like,
here's the thing.
she just looked normal to me.
Both of
Yeah.
those things can be true. I mean, she can be all those things, like unapologetically herself and all of that stuff that is to be like admired and also difficult to be around.
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, totally.
Like maybe
I
she
agree.
maybe she was like fucking
And
annoying
if you
to be
did
around.
have that
But-
life, you probably would be like really like difficult and
You're
tough
hard.
and hard and
Yeah,
stuff.
you
You
gotta be
had to
hard.
survive if your parents weren't looking out for you. If
Dude,
you're
And New York,
Yeah, in New York.
in fucking what, like
in the
this-
80s,
Yeah,
How
or
else were
late
you
or
going?
70s.
How
yeah.
else were you
70s,
going
yeah.
to make it? You couldn't have like my personality that was like, you can push me around and do whatever you want to me. Like you
Right.
couldn't have that kind of personality
Right.
and make it by yourself as like a woman in New York in that time. Like
Well,
no
and
way.
I think that too, she had no problems making herself known, what she wanted, what she expected, what she, but I mean, one of the guys that was like I was saying, that was interviewed was like, she had her own place, and there was times when he'd be out and he'd crash at her pad because she'd be like, yeah, come on in. And, like, so there, a lot of people had a lot of bad things to say about her, but she was a drug addict and she was, all those things. But at the same time, when people did speak about her in any positive fashion, it was like, yes, but,
people
yes,
are
but.
multifaceted and people are
Multifaceted.
complicated and nothing is like all good or all bad. You know?
Well, Nancy, again, was part of this groupie scene. She had been hanging out with rock stars like Aerosmith, things like that. And the punk age was starting to hit. And so she was starting to, hang out with people like from New York Dolls, the, Ramones, things like that. And she got pretty enamored with this guy, Jerry Nolan from the Heartbreakers at the time. He was the drummer for the Heartbreakers at the time. And they were going to London to tour in London, and Nancy decided on a whim that she was going to fly to London and fucking go follow him, and she was going to go meet him over there.
I will
So-
say groupie culture to me is
Yeah.
so fucking weird.
I know,
Like
right?
it's so weird and gross to me, but that's just
Yeah.
that's
I mean-
just me. I'm like, I think it's gross, but
yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks.
And-
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't
me
imagine doing
devoting
that.
my life to
Different
following
times.
anybody around
I
is
know,
like
right?
something I'm absolutely not going to do.
Yeah, no, thank you.
0% chance.
Some people do that though. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, some people follow their boyfriends in the military all over the place. So who knows? You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
a different type of following somebody. But I guess you're a little more exclusive if it's a guy
Yeah,
who's
I'm not
in-
trying to follow somebody around who's literally using me like a Kleenex and throwing me away.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not following anybody around like that at all.
Dude, like the guys in Led Zeppelin used to like chain girls
No.
up in hotel
That's
rooms.
so fucking gross. The whole groupie, all of that shit.
Yikes.
That's
Yeah.
why. That's why
The
I won't
Sunset
watch
Plaza.
any of that. Like, all of that stuff grosses me out
Yeah.
so much. The way that women were used as currency in like rock and roll bands and shit like that grosses me out so hard.
I feel like you have a new angry neighborhood feminist coming up on this
I will
one.
absolutely have an episode on groupie culture because I think
That's a
that
good one,
all
yeah.
of that stuff is so gross.
Yeah.
And even artists who I love and enjoy, like the way that they treated women because it was socially acceptable for the time,
Yeah.
doesn't make it okay because it's gross. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't do that to people.
So she
Anyway.
goes to London to follow this Jerry Nolan character, and when she's there, this is when she meets the Sex Pistols. And initially, she's got her sights set on Johnny, and this was like her she meets him, and then that was 1A. That's who she was going after. Johnny wanted nothing to fucking do with her. He was like, "No, thank you, ma'am," and she was like, okay, who's the sweet kid over here who looks vulnerable? Great. Sid Vicious. Sounds good. So back to Sid Vicious. He is literally what they would consider, honestly, the definition of punk rock. Sid doesn't join the band until I think 1977. Glenn, who is their original bass player, he got kicked out of the band. Difficulties. Sid was already friends with Johnny Ryan.
He didn't know how to play.
You don't play shit.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
None of those fucking people knew how to play shit. Nobody. He didn't. He didn't play any musical. No background in music. None. But that's fucking punk music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you barely needed to know how to do anything. I mean, it's more of a culture than it was, honestly. You know what I mean? Like there was just a lot about punk music that, I mean, you didn't really have to know how to fucking play bass. In fact, there was a little side story that I fucking love. Like when he was playing with, later on when he starts playing in a different band by himself with some other band members, the bass player that he has in his band he's like, at the end of the show, he's like, whoa, you made it all the way through the whole song with no pausing. He's like, yeah, like that's what you do. It was just so funny to me because he's just like fucking completely no business in any at all playing any instruments, but he's friends with Johnny Rotten, and so that's how he gets the gig because basically they're buddies, and he's like, this is going to be great for me. This is what I, like I want my friend in the band, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you ever need a bass player, Christina, you just call me up.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
need to know how to
Cassie
play,
can do
right?
it.
I got this.
That's no big deal.
I got
NBD.
this.
Totally.
Yeah. Just audition me anytime. So anyway, again, punk really is more about the attitude, and it's not really about the musicianship as a whole necessarily. I fucking love punk music because it really is to me, it speaks to me in an attitude in a way, right? But Sid is absolutely the embodiment of this punk lifestyle, this punk attitude, the look, the everything. He's got the punk thing nailed. Like he is this kind of prince of punk, right? He invented pogoing, which is like a dance, like jumping up and down dance.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, the dance I do every time we go out anywhere.
Pretty
Sure.
much.
Sure.
Pretty much.
I thought I invented that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I can give that to Sid.
Okay, I guess. He was described by friends as being very kind, sweet, super laid back, just kind of a really super ultra nice guy. Kind of until he took on this kind of Sid Vicious persona. So once he really got involved in punk music and kind of took on this persona of quote unquote Sid Vicious.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I'd heard other things.
Yeah,
about him.
no,
I
yeah.
heard that he was.
You'll hear plenty of
Yeah,
other things about him. So, so at any rate, they they meet up. She goes after him. Again, she had gone after Johnny Lydon, but ended up with Sid. And again, Nancy had this horrific reputation. People hated her, said that she was very domineering. Some interviews show him even being like asked when they're together, like when she starts managing him when they move to New York, they're like being interviewed together. He barely is like able to say 5 words. I don't know that he wants to. He looks pretty fucking strung out, but she like answers everything for him. She's very domineering. Here's the thing I will say about this, because it's a very hard line about like everything you hear is like Nancy's domineering, this, rah, 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 A-type. And
It's
he's
pretty sexist.
He's like a fucking like lunatic. Yes. And like, you know, he's also like, they're both fucking just, they're drug addicts.
They're
And
messes.
they're a mess.
They're both messes.
And together they fucking love each other incredibly.
But
They're a fucking mess.
There is something kind of sexist about being like, she was so fucking domineering. Because I'm
But
like,
she might have been trying to take care of business.
I don't-
because
well,
shit was
you can't both be like like one of you has to do something.
Well,
like,
this
you
is
know
the
what
way
I
I
mean?
looked at it when I saw them, and the way that like it came to me, the way I perceived it was he acts like a little boy, and he comes off as like a little boy, a mean, angry little boy, and she is fucking the mom he never had, and he loves her. I think they love each other in this very codependent way,
yeah.
in a
Yes.
very motherly son kind of
Yeah.
way. Obviously not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, but their relationship was
She takes care of him.
he needed somebody to take care of
Yeah.
him. He's never had anybody take care of him, and now here comes this woman who is like gonna fucking fight for him, is gonna stand up for him, and may try to push his buttons, but the bitch loves me and she's never gonna leave my side. And maybe that's all he fucking wants, is somebody who's not gonna fucking leave him, because his whole life has been his father left him almost immediately after he was born. His mom is pretty much left him because she's a fucking junkie. And, you know, if not physically, but mentally completely checked out of his like childhood. So, I mean, the way I looked at it is very much like in this almost matronly relationship. Like she was very much.
Well, and I always try and look at it from the perspective of like, would we be saying the same thing if like the genders were reversed? And like, short of her being like super controlling, which I think we would have a problem with either way,
Right, we definitely
her
would.
just being like authoritative and knowing what she wants and speaking up for herself and for him, there's not anything inherently wrong with that. Like, but I
Right.
think in the 70s,
Yeah.
in a relationship, you have her doing that and him taking the more like submissive role in that regard in their relationship. It was seen as like a problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, which I don't think is necessarily fair. I'm not saying she was a nice person. She doesn't seem like she was a nice person, but like,
No, I mean,
that doesn't mean that like she was an awful, terrible bitch, horrible human being,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, there's not many nice things being said about Nancy by anyone, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I mean, it's just, you know.
But I don't think either one of them were
again-
particularly good
Again,
people.
we're talking
They were
about
kind
two
of shit
junkies.
people.
You know what I mean?
They were both shit
They're
people.
both like fucking 18,
Yeah.
19-year-old fucking junkies.
Yeah.
You know, Sid's coming into a bunch of money now. They're like, he's in this fucking band that's really starting to take off. They are doing an American tour. And at the end of this American tour, they end up in San Francisco. And the last day of the tour, Johnny Ratten's like, I'm fucking done with this band. We're through this fucking, we're done. So they all go back to London. Again, Sex Pistols is done. Sid makes it back to London, and Nancy at that time, basically, he's like, Nancy's my manager. And she's like, okay, I'm your manager. It was really like that. Like, yeah, sounds good.
I realize that we've come to a place in
Yeah.
like American society where we think that just anybody can be a manager.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
I don't think your mom can be your manager. I don't think that your fucking like
Nancy's
girlfriend
my
can be your
now.
manager.
Shh, Nancy's my manager now. It's
Let-
fine.
let-
Nancy's my manager now. Okay,
Listen.
it's fine. And they eventually decide that they want to take this new gig of his, and they're going to New York, and they're gonna fucking take on New York, and they're gonna storm New York and be this like on the scene. And August 24th, 1978, they moved to Chelsea. The Hotel Chelsea.
Chelsea Hotel. It's a Leonard Cohen song if I've ever heard one.
It is. Yes, it is. She does, though, actually start to get him gigs and is getting him like upwards of $4,000 a night for gigs at like Max's Kansas City. And, you know, so he's like, they're fucking making money. And as soon as they make money, they're fucking shooting it in their veins, taking it in pills. And, you know, they've had brief respites of like not doing heroin, but they've been doing barbiturates and, you know, Dilaudid and things like that. They're like heavily on all the drugs.
She's been on them since she was like 11.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
that's
technically
what they were prescribed for schizophrenia. So she's definitely like, that's probably her normal. Well, honestly.
And two, I mean, this is a girl that's lived in New York for a really long time. She comes back and they're living at the Chelsea and she is like, and everybody's like, this just doesn't even make sense. Like, she's like this well understood New York girl. Like, you don't fucking walk around flashing your cash in fucking New York at that time. Like, you just don't do that shit.
No.
And that's how she was. Like, she started being like flashing money around and like just loosey goosey with all her cash and just kind of being like real flashy about it. So it was really like a bizarre way for her to be. She's like
high.
She's high on life.
She's not like she's high on drugs.
She's high on, but she's high on everything. She's high on this, you know, she's dating Sid. She feels untouchable.
But I think you just do things that like you just don't, you wouldn't do.
Yeah,
if you weren't,
she's also so young.
Loaded.
So yeah, she's playing, footloose and fancy free with the cash. Just, you know, everybody knows they got money. So, and she's talking about how much money she has. She had told one of the regular Hotel Chelsea dealers at the hotel that she had $1,400. She's, you know, they're at the hotel, you know, it's pretty normal for them to, you know, ask around for drugs, things like that. So on this one evening, the evening that kind of everything goes south, it's told that Sid takes up to 30 Tuinol tablets and Dilaudid. Tuinol tablets are like basically horse tranquilizers. I mean, they're like, you take up to first of all, 30 Tuinol will fucking murder any
like
of you.
Fun at all?
Somebody who's a major junkie, like who could possibly take up to that many. I mean, you're gonna be out like a fucking light all night.
And we were just talking about the guy that drank 12 beers, and pissed and shit all over somebody's house,
right.
And Dilaudid is no fucking joke either. Like,
I'm allergic to that. So.
Are you?
Yeah. No bueno. No party for me. Great.
Guess I can't have any.
So that evening around 7:30, a neighbor hears moaning from the room next door. She's also kind of like, that's nothing new. At least they're
Chelsea
not
Hotel
fucking fighting because they're always fighting.
Yeah, I was going to say that she's probably relieved that that's all she heard.
Yeah, people are dying left and right in that place.
At 6 a.m., Sid leaves to go get his methadone treatment, which he always did. He, like clockwork, apparently. This is what everyone says. Like clockwork, he would always be up around 5, leave to go get methadone, and be at the clinic to get his methadone by 6. And
he was getting methadone and actively using at the same time.
I don't believe that he was actively...
kill you?
Yeah, I don't believe he was actually actively using heroin at the time. They were using other drugs, like I said, pills and... Yeah.
I mean, Dilaudid is an opiate, isn't it?
I thought it was.
I think it might be, yeah. I don't know.
You cannot do methadone.
I don't think you can mix methadone.
Use...
I mean, you can, clearly. He did. But like that, I mean, it's just weird
to me when
must
people
have like
get
the
up biggest early constitution
to go and get methadone, which is a thing that's supposed to like help you recover from heroin addiction while you're still taking other opiates and other drugs. It's like it kind of defeats the purpose.
I mean, yes, and yes. And then, so on the timeline at 10 a.m., Sid calls down to the front desk asking for help because Nancy has been stabbed. So he came back to the hotel room and says that he finds Nancy in the bathroom and she has a stab wound and there's blood all over the bathroom. They show pictures of her, dead body slumped over and blood everywhere. It's crazy. She died from a 1-inch wide knife wound and bled out over a long period of time.
Oh my God. So she was left there for a while.
So she literally was stabbed and like bled out, like a wound that honestly could have been highly treatable and could have been absolutely no big deal. But, you know, if she was also on drugs or whatever, she could have been stabbed and then like fucking fell asleep
Nodded
and then
off
fucking
or
bled
something,
out.
anything.
And just died.
Or didn't feel it the way that you would if you were sober. And so just,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Sid is arrested. He had been basically running through the like halls and was like, I fucking killed Nancy. I don't know what happened. Nancy, you know, somebody killed Nancy. And then it's like, what he tells the police though is basically like 3 different things. First of all, he tells the police, I don't know what happened. Then he admits he killed her. Then he says it must have been an accident. And he is just a fucking mess. Like, he's like, I don't know what happened. Like, this is, you know, so he's all over the place with what he says.
Mm-hmm.
He is arrested. He gets out on parole. And while he's out on parole, he is actually sent to his mom's house. Great place to go.
Right.
she took such good care of you before. I have full faith in her.
And she is going to take such good care of you now. Mom has also been known to be the kind of mom who drops off jujubes and fucking fresh needles at the house for you. So, I mean, that's the kind of presence this mom gets.
Well, at least she's keeping you from using used needles.
Right.
She's doing her due diligence.
I guess. But while on parole, he is on suicide watch because basically all he's doing is telling everybody he wants to join Nancy. He wants to join Nancy. They had a suicide pact. He doesn't remember what happened, but he wants to join her. That was his mission. Nancy had always said that she would never live past 21. She died when she was 20 years old. So this was October of 1978 when she died. So she was, just barely 20 years old.
That's fucking nothing. Like
older.
20 is nothing.
20 years old.
It's so hard to think that like she was 20 because
I know.
I look at pictures of her and she doesn't look 20 to me. I always think that she's like older than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard living in the 70s.
Yeah, it's hard. She lived hard and you can see it on her. But like when you hear that she's 20, like 20
years
is like,
old.
20 is nothing. It's nothing.
It's
You're like
baby.
a baby.
You're a baby.
Yeah.
Baby. So anyway, he's saying, I want to join Nancy. She ends up in Bellevue. He goes out one night and he violates his parole by smashing a beer bottle into Patti Smith's brother's head at a bar. So he's arrested again.
Sir.
I mean, I think honestly, he started this fight from all accounts that you hear about this, he started this fight out of nowhere, like was kind of fairly unprovoked.
Trying to get back locked up or something.
I think either trying to get locked back up or honestly on a suicide mission. Like honestly, he's like, well, if I don't kill myself, maybe I'll get killed in this situation or whatever. And I just think he was fucking in this place where he was like, I'm fucking done with this life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, he gets released back to his mom's house. So that evening, to celebrate his release, he gathers up some friends and they're going to party that night. And mom's going to score some heroin, which apparently was shit. Apparently it was really hard for them to find good heroin in New York compared to the heroin they were getting in London. So it would take almost twice as much for them to get high as it would in London. And they were saying that this night they got a very fucking high, very pure, dose of heroin, and he knew it. He was actually like, he'd told one of his friends, he's like, be careful, this is really pretty pure or whatever. So they get very fucking high. They do drugs all night, and then the next morning his mother apparently has said, I think since then, that she did dose him in the morning with a small dose in the morning because he was asking for another dose. And apparently
I hope she's in jail. You can't do that shit.
Well, she's dead now, but he overdosed. And she never got blamed for that either. But there's definitely a lot of suspicion on her involvement in that. And did he dose her, or did she dose him on purpose?
Right.
Did he ask to be,
Even if he didn't, God, I don't know. Listen, I'm not trying to, advocate for like more people to be locked up unnecessarily. So
Yeah.
I'm going to withdraw that. But I will say, like, even if he didn't, what's your responsibility?
Yeah.
Like, what's your responsibility, like, in this
And
situation?
it's your fucking son.
It's your son.
She's a fucking junkie too. You know what I mean? This is the thing. I mean, she's a junkie. He's a junkie. I mean, they're, you know, and so he had asked, he had written, I found a note in his pocket saying that they had this suicide pact together and they wanted to be together and to bury him in his leather jacket with Nancy. You know, it's the love of his life. This is the other thing.
He's
though.
20. What was he? 21? Like your 21-year-old life?
Yeah.
This is the love of your. If I fucking got buried with the love of my life at 21,
God.
that would have been the worst thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just so tragic because
Yeah.
it's like you're not old enough to be able to decide who the love of your life is.
Well, and you're
Like,
not old enough to know what you don't know. You know what I
And-
mean?
yeah.
Like you don't know what you don't know. And you know, it's sad, but that's, you know, and that's sad what drugs can do to you.
Yeah.
I do believe they were very in love. I do believe they had a
agree.
very codependent relationship. I think that you have two people who probably escalated the life of their, you know, of what their drug use was because of each other.
Right.
I
You
don't
can
think they
be
could
in
have lived
love.
you can't live with or without you.
Yeah,
Kind of situation.
You can be in love and it also be the most toxic and terrible thing for you.
100%.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not the right person for you.
I don't know anything about that.
There's lots of theories
Nothing.
though that include this guy named Rocket's Red Glare, that he may have been involved. There was no money in the room. There were some suspicious things. There were 6 different fingerprints in the entire room with that weren't Sid and Nancy's. So there was a lot of like really suspicious things. But after after Sid dies, they don't
They just
even
close it.
yeah they just close the case
Yeah.
because they're so certain that he was the guy who did it that they're not even going to consider looking into it, even though there's been multiple people at the Chelsea that were there that night in and out of that room who were saying there's no fucking way he could have done it. He was completely fucking blacked out on.
So you stand that he didn't. I think I do.
I don't
too,
know,
but it's hard to know.
I don't know. And there's people
Nobody
who said
knows.
that
I
she
mean-
did it herself. There's people who said because the wound was so like minimal and that she just bled out.
Wasn't he going to leave her too? Wasn't that a rumor?
I don't think so.
I think they fought a lot.
They did fight a lot.
I think they
Okay.
fought
They had a very
lot.
volatile
Yeah,
relationship.
I
But he
think-
was absolutely in love with
And
her.
I think that there were lots of like fights where they yelled at each other and probably said all kinds of awful things. That's what I'd heard is
Yeah.
that like a lot of people, their relationship was extremely volatile. And like
Right.
a lot of people felt that, you know, whenever they found out Sid had done like that was arrested for it, they were like, yeah, I mean, they fought all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Whenever I was thinking about doing this for A Crazy in Love, I kind of fell on the side where I thought like he didn't do it.
Did you watch that documentary?
I watched something on YouTube. I watched a documentary on YouTube. I don't
Here's
remember
the
which
one
one
I
it
would
was.
tell you to watch because the one is a little older. It's not that it's not as good. Both of them are almost identical in the information because it's literally the same people they interview and their stories do not change, which was interesting to hear.
Yeah.
So the one that was newer was Sad Vacation. They were both good, but Sad Vacation's the newer one.
I can't remember what
Sad
I watched.
Vacation is
I
on
watched
Amazon
something.
Prime, and the other one is on Hulu. So
I'll say like I think that
it is interesting
I
that they
think
pose.
I think it's possible.
I agree.
He could have killed her because they were both out of their fucking minds.
Makes me think of Elliott Smith. You know that other musician in the 90s that
Yeah.
supposedly stabbed himself twice in the heart, and his suicide he misspelled his own name, but
I
his
remember-
girlfriend
No,
was
I didn't
like,
know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew about
Ooh, do
Elliot
that
Smith. Do
one.
that one though.
Oh,
yeah, do
yeah.
that one because I don't know
Let's
it
see if
well
I can know
enough,
that
but
story
I
at all.
remember it vaguely, and I listened to Elliot
Yeah.
Smith a lot when I was an emo
oh, I
teenager.
loved Elliott Smith.
But I mean, I think that there's a possibility that he did do it. But I think if he did do it, I don't think it was something that was like he meant to
Yes,
hurt or
since
kill
the
her.
wound
I
was
think
So yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
it was like they were
superficial.
like
I think they
fucking
were out of their
around.
fucking
Yeah.
minds on drugs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if he did it, but I'm not
and
convinced he did.
She
You
cut
know,
her fucking wrist twice. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, like, it's not like
it could have been anything.
she could have done it herself.
She could
We
have done it
don't know.
herself.
The
then
fact of
she
the matter
just
is,
passed out
here's
and,
the
like,
thing
bled
that
to
I have
death.
an issue with is that after he dies, there's not even like any inquiry.
No one even looks
gives
into
a
it, which
fuck.
is fucked up.
Because they're like, she's a fucking, you know, she was a
Worthless.
sex worker, and they were just a bunch of fucking drug addicts.
She's
and-
less dead. That's
Yes.
what the term is for that.
Yes.
Whenever they're just like, we don't need to look into this
Right.
because these are less dead
Well,
people. It
that's
doesn't matter.
The reason why Dude Face, Samuel Little or whatever, was able to kill, like, now they just found out he like maybe did 10 more, over 100.
And it's like sex workers and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because people don't care.
They don't care.
I was just telling you about West Mesa. Same thing in New Mexico. It's
That's
just
right.
like tons and tons of sex workers and homeless people and drug addicts. It doesn't matter. Like
yeah.
it's that's
Nobody's gonna miss them.
That's what sucks. And even
horrible.
though
It's horrible.
you've got somebody like Nancy who is like, she's all those things, but she's also got some notoriety. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because she's still
nobody's
all those
there
things.
fighting for her either. And there's some truth
That's
to that.
awful.
Like, her parents aren't gonna be. What are her parents
Right.
gonna cause a ruckus? Her
There
parents
are
are
a
like,
lot
whatever.
of like parents of people that are not sex workers or that kind of thing that still have to fight tooth
Yeah.
and nail for
That's
all
justice.
the time.
That is true.
It's
For
bullshit.
justice.
It's really upsetting. It's like if you're not a very specific type of person and
Right.
you don't get a very specific type of media coverage from the word go,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And like that is so heartbreaking to me. And like,
This
no,
is my
we'll never
promise
know.
to you guys. I will always make sure your name.
Thank
I will
you
be
so much.
the
You're gonna be.
squeakiest
You're
of
like,
squeaky wheels.
I'm Mrs. 3 fucking billboards, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Solve
I
this
put up a
murder.
goddamn fucking billboard. I did tell my mom once because my mom and I have these conversations where I was like, "Listen,
That's
Mom,
amazing.
if I disappear and the cops are trying to tell you that, like, well, she's an adult, she can disappear if she wants to. Let me tell you right now, I didn't do that shit on my own. I want you to know."
Very, very thoughtful of you.
I told
I
my
did
mom,
not
I'm like, this is
disappear.
a preemptive thing. Like, if you think like, oh, maybe she did go to Europe and she just wanted to start her life over, that's
didn't.
not what fucking happened.
I would have told you.
I will let you know.
You will
so
know.
if the cops are trying to convince you that maybe I just ran away on my own,
I did not.
pursue that shit.
I couldn't. I
3
could not.
billboards that.
Yes.
That is made me think of the Madeline McCann documentary
Yes.
because I did watch part of it.
I've started
but
it
I
too.
got
Yeah.
so
Started it.
pissed off by that cop, that Portuguese cop. I had to stop watching it. I wanted to punch his stupid fucking face.
That's how I felt watching the Amanda Knox one, where I
Oh,
was just like,
that
first
too.
of all, fuck
First of
you.
all-
First of all, how dare you?
Yeah.
Second of all,
Second.
how dare,
How dare you?
Yeah. So that's such a good one. I
I
had
hate
that
when
one
people think
on
that
my
they know what
list.
they're
that's funny.
talking about.
Yeah.
Sid and Nancy is such an interesting one, but it's so unsatisfying because it's just like in the end, and it's so sad because it's just like
babies.
they're babies,
Jesus.
and also they don't even know what happened. Like it's, you know, usually you're just kind of like, well, the only people who know what happened are the people who were there, and it's just like, I don't think even if Nancy was alive, she could have fucking told you what happened,
Right.
Because like
That's true.
they were so out of their minds, and it's so sad. It's so sad. They were just so young, and I forget that they were
Yeah.
like 20 and 21.
Yeah.
She's 20 years old. And you're so right. You look at pictures of her and you're like, she's 26.
Yeah, absolutely.
know.
You feel that way.
But-
And you're like, these are two, and I feel like people write them off so much. And listen, when I hear about the shit that Sid did, there is an element of me, even now, that's just like, can we stop making people like this famous who
Yeah.
like aren't talented? You know,
Yeah.
there is that element of that to me, but also I have to kind of put that to the side and think about like, these are people who were damaged, and like they didn't ask to be like where they were in their lives, and like none of it was fair, and it
Yeah.
wasn't fair to them either, and like that.
But they also still made
sucks.
choices.
They absolutely made choices, but I think so much of it is like, what kind of choices would I make if I had that kind of life?
But you know
if,
what?
If that was my mom and she was fucking using me as a drug mule at 2, what kind of life would I have? What kind of equipment would I have mentally to deal with life? I don't
Totally.
know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. So it's hard for me because my instinct is to be like, I'm going to judge you. But then I'm like,
Right.
but
Right.
I had a fairly decent upbringing.
I don't mean it in a I judge you way, but
Yeah.
I think that at some point, but this is the thing, when you're 20 and 21, you're not at that point yet where you can say, you know what, I can look at this as something that is a challenge in my life and turn it around and be better, or I can allow it to drag me down. You
They
don't
didn't get
have
old
that- you
enough
don't-
to make
exactly.
those kinds of
You don't have the
decisions.
capacity
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
to that point, and you
Who
have no
knows?
one leading you.
Who
or
knows what
helping
they
you.
would have been if they'd gotten older?
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
Sid and Nancy.
good. Yay. That was
job.
fun. That was unexpected, but I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved that movie with Gary Oldman.
Oh my God. I
Fuck,
love
Sid
that
Courtney
movie.
Love.
No,
Court-
it's well, yeah, you're
Courtney
right.
Love's in it. She
but
wanted to be
she's-
Nancy, and she didn't get the part.
Dude, she could have been.
She could have been.
fucking
She's
looks
perfect
so
for
She's
it.
much
90s
like her.
Nancy.
She really
Yeah.
is 90s Nancy.
She's perfect for it.
That's another good. Crazy
She
in Love
wishes
movie.
she was Nancy. I think
she
part
does.
of her.
I think you're totally right.
Yeah. I think a part of her is mad that
You know what? Actually, that's
she
a good
doesn't have that
crazy.
infamy.
That's a good crazy in love. Is
Yeah,
actually
that's
Courtney and Kurt.
There are
really
a lot
is.
of theories on that one.
Today's
I
the
know.
25-year anniversary of his death.
Oh,
Yep.
is it?
It is.
Oh, pour one out.
Yeah.
For my homies.
Yeah. Well, if you've got ideas for crazy in loves, or you've got stories about shitting on someone's couch, or
Yeah.
you just want to say
Definitely send
hi,
that.
go to myworstdatepodcast.com. But we also want to ask you, if you're enjoying the podcast, if you could go and like and rate and review, tell 3 or 4 of your friends about it. That would be fantastic.
Or more.
Love you forever.
No limits.
Or more.
No limit
Yeah.
soldiers here.
But 3 or 4 to start with. Just to start.
Yeah, maybe, you didn't hear this here, but if you want to just like graffiti a bathroom stall,
I mean, we're fine with that.
we're fine with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
Yeah.
myworststate@gmail.com. Just write it in some Sharpie
Yeah.
on a bathroom stall.
We want to hear your stories. We want to hear from you. And most of all, we want to thank you for listening. And we will see you next time.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.